Hello guys, and welcome to the Real News with Mark Velchik. Man, oh man guys, what a week it was last week and what a week it is right now this week, guys. July 4th is coming up, so I hope everybody's getting excited. To let you guys know, there's a lot of stuff going down on the square on July 3rd. I will come check it out. Bring your family down. It's going to be a great time, guys. But let's get into national politics here. Last week we had the debate. And oh man, the debates were crazy. I saw when I was watching it, I was having a hard time watching it. And at first I thought, well, I was on Telemundo because everybody was talking Spanish. And I was like, oh man, I must have put it on the wrong channel. But coming to find out, they were just trying to reach out to the Latinos. I guess they have put the African Americans to a side, and now they're going for Latinos. So I thought, the debates were kind of okay. Joe Biden, I do not think he's the DNC's number one guy anymore after this debate. They pretty much kind of turned on him, and now they're going for Kamala Harris, which kind of crazy to me with Kamala Harris because I think she's from Jamaica. I heard that she was from Jamaica and her parents were slave owners or ancestors were. So I don't know about Kamala Harris. All I know about Democrats, they've just gotten crazy. And another crazy thing that came out, maybe if you guys heard probably on CNN, MSNBC, AOC crying at the border in front of a border fence. And you probably saw the pictures and how she's trying to put out this narrative how Trump is just ripping children away from parents. But, you know, if you really investigate it and find out that it's not, Trump is not, or the Border Patrol, ICE, is not ripping children away from parents. It's more a lot of people showing up and they're not related to the kid. But let me show you this AOC video that Paul Joseph Watson put out, kind of breaking down the fake news that AOC was putting out.
You know all those concentration camps on the border AOC has been telling us about? Well, she's actually found one. Just look at the raw emotion, the pain, the anguish. Oh, the humanity!
I'll never forget this because it was the moment I saw with my own eyes that the America I love was becoming a nation that steals refugee children from their parents and cages them! I feel her emotions in every single picture, especially the last one. It's pure anger, and how can one not feel anger after seeing what she saw?
Really? So what did she see? Distraught children separated from their parents, Mexican minors left to suffer alone in metal cages, crying kids interned in barbaric concentration camps. Turns out, it was an empty parking lot. Oh, the humanity!
It's pure anger, and how can one not feel anger after seeing what she saw?
I mean, sometimes I get a bit peeved if I see a car parked slightly over the line when there's plenty of room, but pure anger? Not really. Why so serious? I mean, we know AOC is big on the environment. Maybe she was mad at the lack of trees.
I saw with my own eyes that the America I love was becoming a nation that steals refugee children from their parents and cages them.
Yeah, you saw with your own eyes a few bored cops and a few dozen hysterical sanctimonious idiots pretending to cry over nothing for a crass photo op. That's what you saw. Oh, the humanity. I'm just glad that Uncle Joe was there to comfort her. I'm just glad that she was able to visit a Planned Parenthood abortion mill afterwards to cheer herself up. Oh, the humanity. I'm just glad that this photographer and this photographer and this photographer all captured her authentic, in-the-moment, grief-ridden reaction to an empty parking lot in photos that were definitely not staged. This definitely wasn't a photo op attended by over a dozen virtue-signaling celebrities, and it's definitely not a little odd to show up to a protest in the middle of a desert, dressed in a pristine white outfit, wearing bright red lipstick and a luxury watch, because this definitely wasn't staged.
Oh my gosh, I am so upset. I'm just like, oh, I didn't even know there was gonna be a camera crew here today. You need to let those children go! Oh my gosh, I can't take it. I'm gonna faith. Let those children go.
Did you get that? Did you guys get a picture of that?
Guys, please make sure you get my $1,000 Gucci watch and my designer boots in every shot, okay?
When you're wanting Chick-fil-A really bad and you realise it's a Sunday, when you accidentally step on your dog's foot. After gorging herself on burritos and retried beans, AOC realised she had picked the wrong day to wear white. When you realise the electricity it takes to power waste disposal units means the world's gonna end in 11 years, not 12. When the bread line is too long. Alright, no more boomer memes, I promise. AOC's reaction in these photos is about as authentic as her fake black accent.
Looks like ain't nothing wrong with that.
Not authentic. It's about as authentic as her claim of growing up in the Bronx, when in reality she spent most of her childhood in Yorktown Heights, which is 90% white. Not authentic. It's about as authentic as her claim to care about the financial struggles of working class New Yorkers, when she literally helped cancel a deal that would have brought 25,000 new jobs to New York. Not authentic. It's absolutely crucial for you to help me fight the war on free speech by supporting me via Subscribe Star, link in description, and also signing up for my free newsletter at summit.news/newsletter.
And there you go, guys. There's AOC, another Democrat trying to rile up everybody in America, trying to get everybody angry and mad over something that really wasn't what she did. Was a staged fake news photo op. And the crazy things that came out of that is that she was on Twitter and she came after everybody, picking on her about wearing a $595 watch. And she said it was her dad's watch. But if you guys remember when she was running for Congress, that she was a poor girl living in Bronx. So it makes me wonder how her father, if they were poor and not really wealthy, how the heck did he buy a $595 watch? So I don't know. I wasn't there when he bought it, but I really think that story of her being poor in the Bronx is just a made-up story again that the Democrats give us. And let's go into the debates. I kind of touched on it a little bit, but now I'm going to get into it a little bit more. It was crazy. It seemed like they were pretty much trying to outdo each other. Who cares about minorities more? Who cares about abortion more? And it was just a big, giant mess. And if you guys watched it and maybe didn't really not really been paying attention what Donald Trump is doing for the country, you would think you're in a Chicken Little movie with the little chicken running around, the sky is falling, because according to the Democrats, everything's falling apart, and it really seemed at the end, if you really break down everything they were saying, a lot of stuff, you would really realize that they really don't care about the working class in America anymore. It's more about the Latinos and the illegal aliens coming over here. And I really feel that the reason they're really fighting not to give Donald Trump funding to build a wall or stop the funding for, I believe Donald Trump is looking for $454 billion or money, and a lot of it was going to buy more beds for the detention center and use it for emergency funds. And I really feel the reason they're not doing that is because they're trying to pander to the Latinos and illegal aliens coming over here, because they're talking about letting illegal aliens vote, convicts vote. I believe it was Michigan, passed a bill that if you coming out of jail and you pay off your court fines and everything, you'll be able to vote. So I think the Democrats are just trying to find whoever, if a rock could vote, I think the Democrats will try to pass a bill that let rocks vote. So they, as you know, if they're doing that, then that just shows me and a lot of other Americans that they do not have policies that are going to beat Donald Trump in 2020. I really don't think they're going to win. I think the way they do win is if they steal the election or some crazy stuff goes on. I think they were also talking about getting rid of the Electoral College. So California and another state would be the ones that to determine who the president is going to be for all eternity if they get rid of the Electoral College. But when I was kind of watching YouTube videos, I stumbled upon Mr. Reagan. He has a YouTube channel. I would check him out, Mr. Reagan. He really breaks down people behind AOC, a lot of other things that are going on. And he made his own bad lip reading kind of thing against the Democratic debate. So it was kind of funny, so I wanted to bring it in and show you guys. So let me go to that video and I'll be back with you guys.
From NBC News, Decision 2020, the Democratic candidates debate.
My name is Elizabeth Warren, and I care about immigrants. I care more. I care about black people. I care more. I care about climate change. I care more. I speak Spanish. My kid is black. I'm black. I'm just gonna stay out of this one. But don't move your arms. 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 I think trans women need to have abortions. I'm sorry, what? What did that guy just say? I don't think he knows how trans people work. Yeah, abortions. Ha, fire. Abortions are cool. Ha.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. Now...
And there's Mr. Reagan's bad lip reading of the Democratic debate, which was hilarious to me, and kind of pretty much broke down what the Democrats really are about. You know, they try to outdo who cares more. And another crazy story that came out was this E. Jane Carroll. And this lady has a new book coming out. She used to be a former writer of the SNL and another magazine that she used to be a former writer. She's in her 70s now. And she came out in her book, I think her book is titled What We Need Men For. And in this book, she breaks down that Donald Trump raped her at the Bergdorf in New York. And of course, the media just ate it up, didn't they? The media, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, all of them, CNN, all of them ate this up. Like, oh, we have another thing on Donald Trump. Let's get her on TV. Let's get her story and what really happened. And the funny thing is, she was put on CNN with Anderson Cooper, and this is the most hilarious thing that ever happened. So let me show you that video real quick, and I'll come back and talk to you more about her.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Oh man, guys, you gotta laugh right there. Oh my goodness. This lady is a wackadoodle. Oh my goodness. And I really don't feel bad for Anderson Cooper. And I just think it's very funny that she said as an STV that rape is sexy. And it's very hilarious because it's kind of saying, there you go, media, that's what you get for you're not really investigating more than what's going on, than just flash a camera in front of her face and let her talk. And that was the worst thing they could have done. And on MSNBC, I didn't find the video, but she's on there, and they're talking to her, and she said, well, I really wouldn't call it rape, with everybody down the board getting raped 24/7. And it was just a lot more, every time that she was on TV, more wackadoodle stuff came out of this lady's mouth. So it was funny. And you have to look at, the smirking kid with the MAGA hat, Covington Catholic School kids, how the media ate that up, and to come to find out that was all just a stage story. And this story here, I think she was just trying to sell books or whatever. And another thing too, let me bring up before I move on, guys, that when her whole story of she was leaving Bergdorf and she ran into Donald Trump, and Donald Trump told her, hey, come help me find some present for a lady I'm buying it for. And she goes in and goes upstairs into the lingerie area. And in her story, there was nobody up there. And there was nobody in the store. It was just her and Donald Trump. And she saw in the dressing room that one of the dressing room doors were open. So she was saying that was kind of weird because, you know, in Bergdorf, it's kind of like an upscale store that they wouldn't have their dressing room doors unlocked. And she goes through this whole story, but the funny thing about this story is that she stole this story from an episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. And in the story of the Law & Order in that episode is that this judge, what I understand, this judge had women that he liked, and these women had fantasies like I'm a burglar kind of fantasy, breaking into her house, and so on and so on. But there was one that he was talking about. He goes, well, this lady had a fantasy of being in Bergdorf and getting attacked, just like the story that she gave about Donald Trump attacking her. So this lady is a wackadoodle, and it was just hilarious that the media ate it up and they pretty much got pie in their face. But the last part of that I really want to get into, and it's the main topic that I want to talk about, is Antifa. Antifa, I don't know if you saw over the weekend in Portland, Oregon, where Antifa runs wild, and it's just a lot of craziness, of Portland, Oregon. If you guys want to know a little bit more about Portland, I would watch Paul Joseph Watson's episode about Portland. He calls it an S-hole. So I would check that episode and you get a little bit more context of Portland. But anyways, Andy Ngo is a journalist. He was in there covering the story. Like you guys saw me covering the open carry rally in Kent State with Antifa and all that being there. So he's just a journalist covering a story of Antifa and what's going on in that rally and everything. And what I understand is Antifa was there to look for the Proud Boys, to beat up the Proud Boys or fight the Proud Boys or let's be honest, at least try to beat up the Proud Boys, but you can't beat up the Proud Boys. They always get smashed if they're going against the Proud Boys. But the main story is that Andy Ngo is an Asian man and he's gay. And he was assaulted, milkshake thrown on him, and there's some reports of a quick dry cement being inside this milkshake was thrown on him. He was attacked, punched, and hit. And the biggest thing is he had to go to the hospital, and he was kept overnight due to the fact that he had brain bleeding. And another story that's maybe not getting a lot of press is that same situation, same rally. This elderly man was attacked by Antifa with a crowbar, and this poor elderly man was jumped pretty much by these cowards, that's what they are, and beat up an old man. And there was another older man that came to try to stop it, and he got attacked and got beat up. And this is what I really want to talk about, is that there is a petition online right now to get Donald Trump to label Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization here in America. And there's been, so you probably could call the White House too. I would encourage you guys, if this really upsets you, to call the White House and say, hey, I would like to leave a comment for the president, and leave the comment and say, it's time, Donald Trump, to label him as a domestic terrorist group, because all they do, and if you notice, all they do is beat up minorities. Not all the time. They beat up a lot of Trump supporters. They beat up a lot of people that stand up for Donald Trump. And I'm pretty much agitated to the point that it's time to stop this. It's time to stop and label him domestic terrorists, because Donald Trump's followers are getting beat up in the streets. And if you guys have been watching my episodes, you will saw that Antifa has also ran Candace Owens, an African-American woman that likes, is on the conservative side, from a cafe. They have beaten up other minorities here in America because in their little warped minds, they really feel if you are not part of Antifa or you're a fascist, a Nazi, and all this. So I think and their whole thing is that let's beat up the Proud Boys and make fun of the Proud Boys and everything. But I encourage you guys to look, investigate what I'm saying here. The Proud Boys USA.com. I would go on there and I would ask you guys to look at the chapters, and you will see there's not chapters just in America. There's chapters in South America, Asia, with people from Japan, people in China, and people in Israel are part of the Proud Boys. And they label the Proud Boys racist, fascist. They label the Proud Boys as a bunch of white males running around being Nazis. But it's kind of hard to run around white male Nazis when there's gay men in the Proud Boys and African American Proud Boys, like I just said, Jewish, people from Japan and China. It's hard to be a white supremacist group when you have a whole lot of minorities in our group, pretty much. So what I have noticed is that with Antifa and Democrats and anybody on the left, it's pretty much all they do is attack Donald Trump supporters and attack Proud Boys, or attack anybody, like a Republican or let me say conservative group. And this is why it's really frustrating. Frustrating to me that why I want Donald Trump to do something, or something needs to change, because how I'm looking at it, like I was talking to my wife last night, I'm like, honey, if this doesn't stop, if these Antifa guys keep attacking conservatives and keep attacking people, and pretty much Andy got beat up because the Antifa didn't find any Proud Boys to try to have a fight with, so they beat up this poor journalist. And so if this doesn't happen, this doesn't stop here in America, people will be dying in the streets. Pretty much, there ain't no ands bits about it, because if they're going to start throwing acid on people, that's another thing I want to get into, I forgot here. There's a free speech rally coming up in D.C., and already Antifa is online on Twitter and other social media sites talking about hitting people with acid and put them in acid in a balloon and put wax on the balloon, so if they hit somebody with one of these acid-filled balloons, it would be covered in wax and they won't be able to get the acid off them. And they're talking about blinding people and everything. So you can see right there that Antifa is already trying to injure people, and it's going to go to another level. And there's going to be bloodshed in the street, more of death in the streets. So I really encourage you guys to talk to your representatives and in your representatives in Congress and Senate, and people are going to listen. Because I think if you talk to the Democrats, they're not really going to listen. They really honestly think the Antifa is a thing that we need in America to hurt conservatives. So I would call the president. I would really talk to a lot of people in Congress and Senate and say, hey, we need to do something. This is getting too far. This has gone too far, really, because this has been going on for 2.5 years of people getting attacked just because they like Donald Trump and just because they wanted our country to go into a different area, different direction than what Hillary and Obama were doing for our country. And, and the Democrats out there and be like, well, we know what direction you're trying to go to. You're trying to go to a white America. And that's bogus, and that's bullcrap. Because nobody is trying to go to a white America. If, what's his name? Richard Spencer is only one, and he's a jerk. So anyways, before I get off into a rabbit hole, guys. So I encourage you guys to talk to the president, email him. I would find that petition online. And sign the petition, and really let's put pressure on our elected officials to do something, because it's getting worse, and it's only going to get worse in the streets. And I don't like Antifa, and I really think a lot of them are pea-brain people and not very smart, but they're still, at the end of the day, still human beings and still Americans. So I think that something needs to happen with our with this whole situation, because You know, if there's a fight, we all have to know that it's the left that started the fight, and I really don't want it to go to a point that American people, are dying in the street over not liking our president, or over kind of like goofy things, really. Like the Democrats, they threw a fit. Like an example here is like the Democrats threw a fit that Donald Trump didn't bomb Iran because they blew up a drone. No, and I kind of stand with Donald Trump with that. It's not, we don't need to attack Iran over losing $13 million. And we attack Iran and people die over a drone. So you can kind of see the silliness in that, to attack a country that blew up a drone. And so in this, have people dying in the street over not liking the president and thinking we're taking it to a whole wild, crazy area. So that's all I want to say, guys, before my show's over. I encourage you to call the president and your elected officials, and let's try to get this solved and get it fixed before there's more bloodshed in the streets. All right, guys, thank you for watching my show, and you guys have a great night.